What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we are going to talk about playing by ear. If you are new to my channel or you've been here a couple times, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. In my last YouTube video, Carlo left me a comment asking me to talk about how to play by ear. So today I'm going to give you a few pointers on learning how to play by ear. The bad news is there is no secret trick to playing by ear. Playing by ear is a skill that you have to develop through lots and lots of practice. The good news is there are some strategies as well as some basic music theory that can make this process a whole lot easier. So the first thing that we want to talk about is that the notes in a melody are not random. You're not going to have just random notes pop up in your melody. For the most part, when you're talking about a pop song or a basic melody or just even like a nursery rhyme or a really common song, they're all going to be based on a scale. So that narrows down the notes you have to choose from for trying to figure out what notes are in your melody. So for the most part, they're either going to be in a major key or a minor key. So once you figure out the key it's in, it makes it a whole lot easier to figure out what notes are going on in the melody. So the first obvious question is, how do you figure out what key a song is that you're trying to play by ear? The easiest way to do that is to sing the melody and try and find the tonal center. So a perfect example would be this song. So if I heard that song and I was trying to figure it out, I would start off by singing that melody, and that last note is very clearly the most important note, which means it's probably the tonal center. Tonal center meaning that that is probably the root of the scale that the song is based on. So again, it sounds like this. Now, if I was trying to figure out the key, the first thing I would do is take that part of the melody and I would sing it. Now, I'm a terrible singer. I probably won't sing all these notes correctly. Most people can do it way easier than I can, but singing it and then holding that last note and trying to find it on your instrument is going to be your first step. So that melody is do da 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 do da. That note, da, is the note that I'm searching for. Da. So I would pick a random note on my saxophone and then I would move up or down chromatically until I hit that pitch. So again, my pitch is da. So I'm going to start on a B and I'm going to go down chromatically until I find da. There it is. Da, 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 do, da. So that note is an F sharp on the saxophone. So that is telling me that the song is in F sharp, either major or minor. So when I hear that melody, I can hear that it's kind of a sad melody, and that tells me that it's going to be minor. If it's a happier melody, it's going to be major. But another way to figure that out is just to play both scales. So if I was going to play my F sharp major scale, that doesn't sound like the right notes. If I play my minor scale, that sounds a lot more like what's going on in the song. If I was playing this with a backing track, which I can't because of copyright on YouTube, but I would put the backing track on or the song on and I would find my root by singing it. I already know that my root is an F sharp, and then I would either play the major scale or the minor scale and see which one fit over the backing track as I was playing it. This one is clearly minor, so I would be using my F sharp minor scale. So to find the key of the song, you want to sing the melody until you find that really strong main note. Hold that note, then go on your instrument, start on a random note, move in half steps until you hit that pitch. If you're interested in putting some more structure in your saxophone practice routine, I'd like to invite you to check out the Scott Paddock Sax School. I'll put a link in the description below. Now that you've got the key that the song is in, that makes your life a whole lot easier because it narrows it down to 7 notes. Once you're narrowed down to 7 notes, that makes your life so much easier because you're not just randomly guessing anymore. So your next question is, does the melody go up or down? Does the melody go up or down? So for this one, I'm going to use Isn't She Lovely? So hearing that melody, I can hear that I start off by going up and then I go down. So your first step, once you figure out what key you're in and what your scale is to figure out the direction of the melody. Then once you figured out the direction of the notes, you need to ask yourself, are you going in scale-wise motion or are you jumping around? So scale-wise motion just means you're moving up and down on the scale. Jumping around means you're going to larger intervals. So take a listen to Isn't She Lovely? That is very clearly going up and down the scale. There are no intervals. There's no intervals there at all. It's all scale-wise motion. So that makes it way easier to figure out because we just have to go up and down the scale. If the melody is not moving around by scale-wise motion, that means you are usually jumping to an interval. And that might sound a little bit more difficult, but the majority of the time, not all of the time, but the majority of the time, when you jump to an interval, it's going to be a chord tone. So if we're in the key of C, the chord tones would be your 1, 3, 5, and 7, which in the key of C are C, E, G, and B natural. So if you think about chord tones, that's going to make thinking about jumping to an interval way easier. So if you have a song like this, Jingle Bells, we start off with interval jumps. So it starts off on the E. It jumps to the 5th. Then it jumps down to the 1st. So even though we have interval jumps, and those are a little bit more difficult to figure out, if you think about your chord tones, oftentimes you're going to be jumping to a chord tone. So I'm going E, G, C, D, E. So I'm jumping to chord tones. So if we go back to a song like Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone, you can hear a ton of intervals, but all of those intervals are chord tones. So when you hear an interval, if you jump to your chord tone, you're going to have a really good chance of being correct. If not, that's going to get you very close to what that interval jump is. But if you start off by guessing your chord tones, you're going to be well on your way to figuring out the song by ear. So when it comes to figuring things out by ear, first, notes are not random. Second, sing the melody to find your key. Third, figure out the direction of the notes. Are they going up or are they going down? Then once you've figured out the direction of the notes, are they moving in scale-wise motion? In other words, just kind of going up or just going down the scale? Or are they jumping to an interval? If they're jumping to an interval, you want to think about your chord tones. So if you start off with just those simple rules when you start trying to play something by ear, it's going to make your life a lot easier and you're going to have a lot more success in figuring out what that melody is. Now that you understand some of the strategies of learning how to play by ear, leave me a comment below of the song that you really want to learn how to play by ear. Now when it comes to learning to play by ear, it is a skill that you need to practice. Oftentimes people hear a song or a solo or something they like and they're like, oh, I want to learn how to play this by ear. That is fine and that's not a bad thing to do, but a better way to practice by playing by ear is to do it purposefully as part of your practice routine. Start off with something easy, like a nursery rhyme or a really common melody, something like or even something really simple like start off with something that's really easy and really approachable and figure that out. Once you get that down, then transpose it into different keys. When you learn a melody and then you transpose it into different keys, you are using your ear in a way that makes you listen to the direction of the notes, the interval jumps. It makes you learn your scales better, your chord tones better, and it's just going to make playing by ear a lot easier because you're training your ear to hear these melodies in different ways in different keys. Now, when you start off playing things in different keys, I would suggest just doing 5 or 6 of the easier keys like C, G, D, A, F, and maybe B flat. I wouldn't spend a lot of time on B, F sharp, C sharp, A flat, the harder keys. just because you're going to be way better off doing the easier keys and working on your ear than spending a lot of time trying to figure things out in C sharp major. So if you start off easy by using familiar songs and doing it in shorter sections, like maybe 4 measures or 8 measures, and then you take those shorter sections and transpose them into different keys, you're going to be well on your way of developing the skill of playing by ear. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Please leave me a comment below. Thanks a lot.